Here we are, part 2 of editing basics with Final Cut Pro. We're going to talk about audio today. So in the previous video, we got this timeline set up in the project, and I'm just going to play what we got so far. Okay, so the timing on the picture is about right, but there's a lot of problems with the audio. The first one that you're going to notice is that the background audio changes in between shots. Usually it's because of like the sound of the vending machine. So just the difference between these two is pretty obvious. So you can hear it more in the wider hallway shot, and then it gets quiet. And then here it's really loud again. So let's deal with that first. Let's say we want to use this background audio, but not the loud stuff. So first let's mute this one so I don't hear anything. Just drag the volume all the way down. But that's also weird, right? So we need to get some audio in there. So what we're going to do is try and find some ambient sound effects. So this has all our videos that we imported, and here's our library, but it's also got these other two buttons. So this one is for audio things and also photos, but let's go here to sound effects, and Final Cut comes with some built in. And look here, there's a genre called Ambient. This just means like background sounds, nothing, no obvious single sounds, but just a long background, like busy room or city. So is there something that would match a school hallway? Let's try school cafeteria. So probably a little too noisy for how empty this hallway looks, but we'll just use it for now. So I'm going to drag this down, and you see these sound effects are all pretty long, like a minute long, or yeah, a minute and 3 seconds long. So that's good because you want it to last for all of the scene. I'm just going to, since it kind of fades in, I'm going to slide this over so it starts at full volume right at the beginning. But also we don't want it at full volume. That's going to be really loud. So we just want it more in the background. So I'm going to, there's this line going down the middle of it, this horizontal line. This is the volume. So if I click and drag that down a little bit, let's try it at -8. Yeah. Now I can, gosh, Final Cut's having a hard time while I'm recording. I'll bring the volume down on this one just because the background's so loud. But I do want it to make a noise, right? She pushes the button. Maybe it's good enough if I just bring the volume down a little bit, like that. No, that's good. Okay. So that's how you can deal with just background ambient sounds. But notice it lasts for way longer than we need it. So I'm just going to go here to the blade and cut off where I don't need it anymore, and then hit delete. Because I did that, it creates this black video at the end, like for as long as the extra sound effect was, so I'll need to delete that too. Okay. Now let's talk about adding sounds that weren't there to begin with, such as when she gets So let's drag this thing down so that's not so loud. And we want a sound right where they collide. So I'm just going to go one frame at a time, hitting the right arrow. Left arrow will go backwards, right arrow goes forwards. Right about there is where we want a sound. Now I'm going to hit M for marker. See, I'll put that right there. So now it's just going to keep that there for me even if I click somewhere else. And let's also zoom in on the timeline so I can see it a little better there. All right, let's find a sound that we could use here. Ambient, sports, people. It might be in the people sounds, or you can go up here and search. So is there a sound called punch? There's not. Is there, if you type in body, there's all these body hits, and that's basically punching and kicking. So we can choose one of these that we want. Okay, let's try this one, and I'm just going to drag that down and I'll put it underneath, and then I want it to match up right with that marker. It's not the best sound, but it'll do for now. And then we probably need another one for when she like runs into the wall. Ugh. Let's try, I'm just going to choose one of these randomly. Put that right about there. Oh, and then she falls down too. Let's get one more. Body fall on concrete. Okay. See how that sounds. Okay. So now we got a few sound effects in here. What else? Oh, also we want to like hear her approaching. It's like she should be running down the hall towards her this whole time. So let's hear her footsteps as she comes. So I'm just going to search footsteps bare, no, footsteps hard, sneaker, and concrete run. Let's try that. This is another long one, so we won't use it for very long. Let's just see how it sounds. Oh, that's not good enough. What does this other one sound like? Maybe it's faster? Yeah, that's better. Maybe we don't want sneakers though. Do we want something harder sounding? Let's try hard concrete run. Yeah, a little more obvious sounding. Okay, so let's start it right about here. Oh, we can start it even earlier. Okay, but we don't want her to keep running, so let's get rid of that. Blade. Select that, delete. Now, this is all going at one constant volume. So sometimes you want to adjust the volume just for part of it. So in this case, I want it to start out quiet, but then get louder as she's, getting closer. So here, instead of just adjusting the volume, because that'll adjust it for the whole thing, I'm going to hold Option on my keyboard. See how it changes my mouse into a different thing? So I'm going to go to the end first and click there, and that puts a keyframe, this little diamond. So that means at this point in time, I want it to be at this volume. And then I'm going to go here to the beginning, hold Option, add another one, and then this one I can drag down to lower. So now at this point in the time it'll be -19, and then it'll gradually fade up until here it's -1. See how that sounds? Much better. And then we can do another one when she runs away up here. So we'll drag this back down. And this will be the opposite. It starts out loud and then gets quiet. So she starts running right about here. And then I'm going to hold Option, put a keyframe. We'll have her run 2 before they start getting quiet. And then let's go to about, where's she off screen? We'll hear her a few times after she's left. Drag that one down like that. And I'm using keyboard shortcuts for deleting. I hit the B key to switch to blade, A key to arrow, A key, Okay. Let's see how that sounds. Now we're hearing her twice because you do hear footsteps in this video, so we could just bring that all the way down. Okay, there we go. There's some sound effects. Now, if you want to add like actual effects to these sounds, let's say we want it to be echoey for this running. Let's bring this up a little louder. So over here, this is your effects button, and this is for both visual and audio effects. So if we go all, these are all visual ones, and then you've got audio ones towards the bottom. But I'm looking for, we want echo. We could do echo, or we could do spaces. That might be better. Spaces is another word for reverb, so it's like the kind of room that it's in. What about if this was in a cathedral? What does that sound like? So you just click on the effect you want, put it on the clip, and now if we play this, so now there's more echoiness to those steps. Make that last for longer. This is a good time to show you the inspector. That's this up here. So if you click this button, it will open or close the inspector, and this is where you can make adjustments to whatever it is you have selected. So here I can see my audio. This file has some audio effects on it. Here's the cathedral. So if I turn up, if it turns out I don't want this, I could, turn it off. Or if I want it more obvious, really crank up that cathedral effect. We can do that. Okay. So that's, one last thing with audio is you want to make sure that it's not too loud or too quiet. So you're hearing it through your headphones right now, as am I, but it's possible to just turn up your headphones really loud, like that. And then it sounds loud to you, but it might still actually be really quiet on the video. So how you can tell for sure is this thing here. So if you click on, this is the volume bar, you see how it changes on place. If you want to make it bigger, just click on it once, and then it will open up over here. So our goal is for the combined audio to be right in this area, below the 0 but above -6. That's like standard volume. If it gets above here and it lights up these two, then it's too loud and it's going to be distorted. So I can show you if I bring this up and maybe bring up this too. Now when it gets to this part, it's going to be loud enough that it... So let those up, and it's going to be too loud. So anybody listening to this, if they had their headphones at a normal level, it would either hurt their ears or their speakers or both. So we want to avoid that. So whatever it is that's making it spike there, you just want to bring the volume down until it's back at a good level. Okay, one last thing. We've got effects in here, but let's say we want some music as well. So music, Final Cut doesn't really come with. You got to find your own. So if you have some stuff downloaded in a music library, you can get to it from here, but I don't think just having a music subscription counts, like you would have had to pay for the files, like actually have the MP3 files or something. So if you have that, then you're good to go, but most of you don't buy music anymore, am I right? So instead, you're going to want to download it somehow or copy it onto your computer. So let's go import. Again, we can either go File, Import, or you can just click this arrow, the down arrow. And let's find some music here. So if I go into my music folder, so click my name here, go into music folder, and I've downloaded some stuff here. Let's just choose a few of these and import selected. And then here we can see how long they all are. What does this sound for? Sure. So drag that down onto the timeline. And along with music, you're going to want to know how to fade it in and fade it out. And maybe there's parts of the song you want louder than others. But for the most part, unless it's a music video or something where the music is the main thing, you want it to be quieter than the rest of the stuff. But maybe louder than that. Actually, maybe let's bring down the cafeteria sound. Okay, here we go. You'll notice once the music's in there, then it covers up a lot of the differences in the background sound. So that's an added benefit. Let's zoom out on the timeline. And now here we want the music to fade out at the end. So again, let's hit B for blade. Cut that there, hit A for arrow, delete. And now, if we want this to fade out, see how if you put your mouse, if you put it on the edge of the clip, that's how you would shrink or expand it. But if you want it to fade out, just put it right where that volume bar is on the edge. And you can see kind of a little dot, and your mouse will change into this different looking arrow. So I can click and drag that to the left. Now this is the fade, and it's going to start fading out wherever this wherever that dot is. So if I put it all the way over here, then it'll be at full volume until it gets there, and then it'll gradually fade out. And maybe you want the music to last a little bit longer than the video, so you could drag that out like that, and then it keeps playing for a little bit. Cool. Okay, that's it for audio so far. Should get you the basics of putting some sound effects in there, and some music and adjusting volume and all that stuff. See you next time.